In today's video, I want to talk about leaving money to the next generation and pose 4 questions that will help shape decisions within your retirement plan. So many people have an interest in leaving some sort of inheritance to the next generation, but I find they're very fuzzy on the particulars. This leads to a less effective plan. Let's change that. First, I want to start basic. What is the goal or benchmark for leaving money to the next generation? I don't want to hear exact numbers like I want to leave $500,000 per heir. I want to know, what is the overarching goal? What are you trying to accomplish? Are you trying to leave money to the next generation because you don't have a better use for that money? Meaning you are likely going to get to the end of your plan with a bit of a safety margin and you don't have a big charitable interest. And so whatever is left, your kids can benefit from. I'll label this as an indifference goal. This is a wildly different goal than wanting to provide your kids with opportunities that you never had. And be specific if you have this goal. What opportunities do you mean? Do you want them to be able to have the freedom in their life to be able to accept a lower paying job that they absolutely love? Do you want them to be able to go on trips that you were never able to afford while you were building wealth? An opportunities you didn't have type goal is more of an amplifying goal. Then we have what I will call a protection goal. I know a few retirees that want to protect their kids against bad luck and downside risks, but once that goal is accomplished, they don't really want to leave their kids excess. They want their kids to stand on their own 2 feet. For instance, if something ever arises healthcare-wise, like one of their children gets cancer, they will step in and make sure that child is protected financially. They are trying to protect their heirs from terrible luck, but really nothing more. There's no right or wrong answer here, but knowing what you are trying to accomplish is very important. And if we can play devil's advocate here for a second, think about the downside risks of your goal. Sometimes the road to hell can be paved with good intentions. Let's say you want to leave your heirs with as much money as possible and you have an incredibly sincere reason of wanting to provide a better life for your children. In frequent cases, free money can do more harm than good. A child with poor money habits won't find these poor habits fixed with more money. In fact, it will hurt more than help often. A good portion of lottery winners end up in a worse place than if they never won that money at all. Part of the value of money is it costs something to earn. Earning that money forces personal growth and responsibility, so it's worth considering the negative, unintended consequences of your gift. We'll talk about ways you can defend against these unintended consequences with the structure of your gift a little bit later. Number 2, do you want to leave wealth at the end of your life or give gifts while you're alive? There are valid cases for both. If you want to leave the largest inheritance possible, then waiting until the end of life is typically most prudent. You can allow that money to compound over your life and grow that much larger. But the value your heirs will get from that gift will likely drop. All too often, I see a situation like the one I'm showing on the screen. Say you have 3 kids and you had them when you were in your 20s. By the time you pass away, your children could be in their 60s. It's very likely at this point they've saved and planned for their own retirement. After all, they can't depend on mom and dad's inheritance. Something could happen. And so by the time they receive that inheritance, it ends up being excess. And excess rarely gets used effectively. Your legacy might have been larger, but the benefit that will be gained from that legacy has fallen dramatically. Versus if you start giving earlier in your retirement, let's say in your 70s, how old will your children be? They're probably in their 30s and 40s. They might have a family. Things are probably a little bit tighter as they are straddling child expenses and also trying to save for their own retirement. What if your gift can give them the ability to go on an incredible family vacation? Or you can help them save a bit more for their retirement and help them retire sooner. Even though your gifts might be smaller, they make a far greater impact. Now, I find many retirees are nervous about gifting while alive. What if I need the money? Uncertainty creeps into their mind and prevents this ongoing gift. A well-built retirement income plan can eliminate this uncertainty. On the screen, I have a chart showing a safe withdrawal rate for a couple with a $2 million portfolio with the corresponding Social Security benefits. Based on their situation and proper timing of Social Security, the worst case scenario historically would have allowed this couple to spend a minimum of $10,000 plus per month. In most cases, they could spend far more than this. Now, let's reframe this $10,000 per month not as just spending, but rather outflows from your plan. If you're comfortable spending $8,000 per month to meet your lifestyle goals, well then you have a big gap in terms of what can be used for lifetime gifting. As your portfolio grows, we can dynamically adjust that spending capacity And there's a good chance that that lifetime gifting ability actually increases over time. Question number 3, as you consider the goal and method of gifting within your legacy plan, think about the floor and the ceiling of your potential gifts. For instance, let's say you want to leave money at the end of your life. Is there a minimum and a maximum that you want to leave? Many retirees have never considered this, but probably would have a maximum if they were thoughtful about it. Again, this goes back to the idea that the road to hell is sometimes paved with good intentions. In his book, Quest for a Simple Life, William Dawson writes, the thing that is least perceived about wealth is that all pleasure in money ends at the point where economy becomes unnecessary. The man who can buy anything he covets without any consultation with his banker values nothing that he buys. Warren Buffett has an insightful take on this point. I want to leave my family with enough money they can do anything, but not so much that they can do nothing. It's worth considering deeply what the right amount is. It's a difficult question that I don't have the answer to, but it's clear there is a maximum. Take a very extreme example. Cornelius Vanderbilt died with approximately $300 billion in today's dollars. Within 50 years, it was completely gone as 3 generations seemingly fought over who could waste the most money in the shortest amount of time. This is not an uncommon story. Now, obviously this is an extreme example, but it's worth considering when that fine line is crossed, when more no longer equals better. Then finally, question number 4, do you want to constrain your inheritance? This is often an overlooked method of forcing prudent financial behavior. Using an estate planning tool called a trust allows you a blank slate to have controls over your money even after you pass away. For instance, let's say that you have some great children, but they have some poor money habits. You pass away right now, and let's just say your 2 heirs inherit $1.5 million each when counting your investments, as well as your home. Through big spending, day trading stocks, sports gambling, or a million other poor financial moves, you'd be surprised at how fast people can burn through a large inheritance. Instead, you have the option to constrain that inheritance. When you pass away, your $1.5 million goes into a trust. Now, if you don't want your children to YOLO and quit their job, you could write your trust in a way that only allows $30,000 per year of income to flow from that trust. Enough money to keep them from abject poverty, but not enough that they could choose to retire and no longer work. You could also force that trust to stay invested in long-term, low-cost index investments so they didn't have the opportunity to day trade away the wealth that you worked so hard to build. In addition, you could also write the ability of larger outflows if some health-related expense happened that incurred huge medical bills. The point here is you can force some control to prevent a large inheritance from becoming a black mark on your heir's life. Some may find this attractive. Others will find this unnecessary. My goal is not to tell you what is right or wrong for your situation, but rather help you deeply consider the options that you have so you get the most benefit from your money and your heirs do as well. That's all for today's video. If you're looking for some unconventional estate planning strategies to go along with these questions, here's 3 of them that you might find beneficial. Thanks for watching. Always remember, you don't need more money. You need a better plan. We'll see you in the next video.